Thanks for watching ERi-TV, dear viewers. Welcome to our news broadcast. First, a quick look at the major headlines tonight. Call for reinforced water and soil conservation activity in the Kabul region. Meeting to develop competence of elementary school students in the Eritrea. Suicide attacker kills at least 19 in Kabul school blast. Workers strike for a pay hike in France. In our domestic news, Mr. Habtab Tasfatyan, governor of the southern region, called for reinforced participation in water and soil conservation activities. Mr. Habtab made the call upon observing the commendable water and soil conservation activities carried out in cooperation with the public and government institutions in Eritrea, Imnahayli subzone. Explaining on the impact the terraces and water diversion schemes constructed in Eritrea in redressing the environment, Mr. Habtab called on others to follow the noble example, indicating the importance of water and soil conservation activities in boosting agricultural production and developing biosystem. Mr. Yamana Abai, Director General of the Department of Agriculture, called for providing priority to greening activities. The residents on their part expressed readiness to strengthen participation in the program. The Ministry of Education branch in the southern region, in cooperation with the Department of General Education, organized a meeting on 22 September in Mandifara city aimed at developing the competence of elementary school students in the region. According to reports presented at the meeting, the weaknesses have been identified with the comprehensive research conducted to assess the competence and elementary school students. According to the findings of the research, the report presented recommendations to address the weaknesses, including training of pedagogy to be organized for teachers, sustainable encouragement and support to be provided to students, the need to strengthen the relationship between students, parents and teachers, as well as stakeholders, to reinforce participation in the effort. At the meeting, Mr. Musa Hussain, Director General of General Education at the Ministry of Education, gave extensive briefing focusing on the situation of elementary school education in Eritrea in terms of experiences of other countries. The participants of the meeting, on their part, conducted extensive discussion on the reports presented and adopted various recommendations. At a meeting conducted at Adi Bagi'u Hall in Adhwala subzone, calls were made on social service provision institutions to provide efficient and timely service to customers, indicating that efficient and timely service has significant contribution in attracting customers and source income. Mr. Mabrahatom Bayene, head of tourism branch in Adhwala subzone, called on the owners of the social service provision institutions to pay due attention to the condition of their institutions and provide regular trainings to employees, pointing out that social service provision institutions in the subzone are growing from time to time. Mr. Johannes Askedom, representative of the Ministry of Tourism in the southern region, called for reinforced participation in the effort to develop the tourism sector. Announcement from the Ministry of Health. One patient has been diagnosed positive for COVID-19 in tests carried out today at testing station in the central region. On the other hand, 2 patients who have been receiving medical treatment in hospital at the central region have recovered fully and have been discharged from the facility. The total number of recovered patients has accordingly increased to 10,065, while the number of deaths stands at 103. The total number of confirmed cases in the country to date has increased to 10,170. Ministry of Health, Asmara, 26 September 2022. That was our domestic news. Please stay tuned for the international right after the short break. A suicide bomber has attacked an educational institute in the Afghan capital, killing at least 19 people. As many as 27 others were wounded in the blast earlier on Friday, which occurred in the Dasht-e-Barchi neighborhood of western Kabul, a predominantly Shia Muslim area home to the minority Hazara community, according to police spokesman Khalid Zadran. Videos posted online and photos published by local media showed bloodied victims being carried away from the scene. The victims included high school graduates, both girls and boys, who were taking a practice university entrance exam at the Kaj Education Center when the blast went off. Zadran said, "Schools are typically closed in Afghanistan on Fridays. No group immediately claimed responsibility." Families rushed to the area hospital where ambulances were arriving with victims, and lists of those confirmed dead and wounded were posted to the walls. Further details of the attack were not immediately available, although the official death toll was expected to rise. A nationwide strike on Thursday disrupted the French energy sector as workers push for a pay hike amid rising tensions between unions and the government over a planned pension reform. Thursday's walkouts come amid a concerted call by some unions for company bosses to raise wages due to high inflation. They followed months of individual strike actions across business sectors, including transportation, retail, and education. More than 60% of France's refining capacity was offline due to strikes and unfulfilled maintenance plans. Strikes also hit Total Energy's refineries for a third day today. A 24-hour strike by electricity union FNME hit France's already stretched power grid. The strike, headed by the roughly a fifth of the workforce, reduced nuclear power generation by 3.5 gigawatts, an overall 9% reduction in production capacity, according to the utility EDF. The CGT-led national labour mobilization, also followed by a minority of teachers and railroad workers, had been planned long in advance in an effort to boost the labour movement as public life picks up again after the summer break. Protest marches were held in many other cities, including Marseille and Montpellier. Now, a recap of tonight's headlines. Calls for reinforced water and soil conservation activity in the Kabul region. Meeting to develop competence of elementary school students in Mandafara city. Suicide attacker kills at least 19 in Kabul. And workers strike for a pay hike in France. Those are news. It is good night from us.